There was a time when the refrigerator your parents bought was the one they'd still be using when you left for college. The washing machine in the basement, it could run for 30 years without a single service call. Those machines weren't fancy. They didn't have screens or sensors, but they were reliable. They were made to work, to last, and to be repaired when they didn't. Today, appliances don't seem to last like that anymore. A modern fridge might break down after 8 years. A washing machine can fail after 5. Even small appliances, toasters, microwaves, vacuums, seem disposable. So what happened? Why did the sturdy, dependable appliances of the past outlive their owners, while modern ones struggle to make it past a decade? Before we begin, make sure to like this video and subscribe if you enjoy stories that dig beneath the surface of progress. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from and whether you still have an old appliance that refuses to die. When machines were made to last. In the mid-20th century, appliances were built for permanence. Manufacturers designed machines with mechanical simplicity and robust materials. Motors were oversized, metal parts were thick, and everything could be taken apart and repaired. A washing machine from the 1960s might weigh twice as much as a modern one because it was full of steel instead of plastic. Refrigerators were lined with real metal, not molded composites. Even toasters were built like small ovens, with parts you could replace using a screwdriver. The mindset was simple. Quality equaled reputation. A company's name depended on how long its products lasted. If your refrigerator broke early, the neighbors would hear about it. If it ran for decades, everyone trusted that brand. Durability wasn't just good engineering, it was good marketing. The cost of progress. As the economy changed, so did manufacturing priorities. In the 1970s and 80s, global competition and inflation pushed companies to cut costs wherever they could. Labor grew more expensive, materials got pricier, and consumers wanted lower prices. Something had to give. Thick metal became thin steel. Real copper wiring was replaced with cheaper alternatives. Components that once screwed together began to snap or glue into place. Every small compromise saved money, and multiplied across millions of units, it meant survival for the company. Appliances became lighter, cheaper, and more efficient, but every improvement in affordability came with a hidden cost: shorter lifespans. The shift wasn't malicious, it was economic. In a market that rewarded low prices and fast upgrades, longevity stopped being profitable. Planned obsolescence, the unspoken strategy. There's a term for this change: planned obsolescence. The idea is straightforward. Make products last long enough to satisfy the buyer, but not long enough to stop future sales. It sounds cynical, but it's been part of manufacturing logic for nearly a century. In the early 20th century, companies learned that if you built something too durable, you'd eventually lose customers. A light bulb that never burns out means no repeat business. A refrigerator that runs for 50 years means no new sales. So manufacturers quietly began designing products with expiration dates, components that would wear out faster, sealed parts that couldn't be repaired, and designs that discouraged maintenance. It wasn't about laziness or greed. It was about adapting to a system that rewards turnover over longevity. And once consumers got used to replacing things, it became the new normal. From mechanics to microchips. Old appliances were purely mechanical. They used gears, pulleys, and switches that anyone could fix. Modern ones are full of microchips, sensors, and complex electronics that make them smarter, but also far more fragile. A 1950s washing machine could be repaired by a handyman with a wrench and a multimeter. A 2020s washing machine might need a $400 circuit board replacement. Technology improved performance, quieter, cleaner, more efficient, but it also made appliances more vulnerable. A $10 sensor failure can disable a $1,000 refrigerator. A software glitch can turn a dishwasher into an expensive paperweight. We built smarter machines, but we made them less repairable, less understandable, and ultimately less enduring. The disposable mindset. As appliances became cheaper to buy, they became easier to replace. In the 1950s, a refrigerator cost the equivalent of several months' wages. You maintained it like a family investment. Today, a fridge can be financed for a few $100s down, and if it breaks in 5 years, most people simply replace it. We moved from ownership to consumption. Repair shops disappeared because replacement became more economical than repair. Manufacturers stopped stocking long-term parts. Entire industries vanished, from local appliance repairmen to small-batch component suppliers. Once we accepted disposability, durability stopped mattering. Efficiency over endurance. Another factor behind shorter lifespans is the relentless pursuit of efficiency. Modern appliances use far less energy and water than older ones, which is undoubtedly good for the environment. But achieving that efficiency often means using thinner materials, smaller motors, and more precise and fragile components. Old refrigerators ran inefficiently, but their compressors were overbuilt and nearly indestructible. Today's energy-saving compressors run on fine tolerances, designed for performance, not for eternity. In other words, we made appliances better at doing their job, but worse at surviving time. Progress always involves trade-offs. In this case, endurance was the price of efficiency. The globalization effect. There's another quieter shift that changed everything. Globalization. Decades ago, most appliances were built locally. American appliances were made in American factories, European ones in Europe, Japanese ones in Japan. Each region had its own manufacturing culture, with pride in quality. But as production moved overseas, companies began chasing the lowest possible costs. Factories were relocated, supply chains were stretched across continents, and brand names became little more than labels. The craftsman who once built your washing machine with pride was replaced by a global assembly line optimized for output, not longevity. A product might still say made in the USA or Germany, but the parts inside come from half a dozen countries. And when nobody owns the whole process, nobody feels responsible for how long it lasts. The economics of fragility. There's an uncomfortable truth behind modern manufacturing. Fragility sells. A product that lasts 30 years only creates one sale. A product that lasts 10 years creates 3. From an accounting standpoint, that's not failure, that's growth. Corporations are structured to maximize revenue, not reliability. Investors expect growth every quarter, and the easiest way to grow is through faster product cycles. You can see it in every industry: smartphones, televisions, even cars. Durability is no longer rewarded by the market. Instead, companies compete on features, style, and perceived innovation. And that's how we arrived here, with appliances that look modern, sound impressive, and fail sooner than the ones our grandparents bought. The decline of repair culture. Repair used to be part of daily life. Every neighborhood had a shop that fixed appliances. Every hardware store sold replacement parts. Now many appliances are sealed shut. Even professionals struggle to open them without specialized tools. Manufacturers often make repair uneconomical. Replacement parts cost nearly as much as new machines, or they stop producing parts after a few years. It's not just about cost, it's about control. The less repairable something is, the more often you have to buy it again. But beyond economics, there's something human that gets lost. The act of fixing something used to bring satisfaction, the sense of understanding how things worked. That sense of ownership disappears when products are designed to be disposable. The illusion of innovation. When you look at a modern washing machine, it's full of features: touchscreens, Wi-Fi, automatic cycles, even mobile apps. But strip away the digital layer, and the basic job hasn't changed. It still washes clothes. The difference is that now those added features create new points of failure. We equate complexity with progress, but often it's just marketing. A 1960s washer with 2 knobs and a motor could run for decades. A modern one with 10 sensors and a digital interface might last half as long.
The irony is that innovation made things more convenient, but not necessarily better. The changing meaning of value. For earlier generations, value meant longevity. If you paid more for a product, it was because it would last longer. Today, value often means features per dollar. We've been trained to prioritize innovation and price over endurance. A new refrigerator might have smart sensors and built-in displays, but it's not meant to be passed down to your kids. It's meant to be replaced by next year's model. That shift in mindset, from ownership to upgrade, changed how companies build and how we buy. We stopped asking, how long will it last? And started asking, what does it do?